In this assignment, you have to create a post API to insert multiple records. So let's begin. To start this assignment, I'm going to create a new file and name it as user.js. Why am I creating a new file here when I could have created an API in the index file? That's because we don't want to mess up the index file by keeping everything in it. Writing everything in a single index file is not a standard practice. While working with actual projects, it's a good and standard practice to keep the file entity or module wise, and the index file should be left with all the related imports and declarations only. Like we did this for connection class as well, we have kept the connection related methods in connection.js and have imported it where necessary. Alright, so here I have created a file user.js, and in that the first line would be const express equals require, in the brackets I'll say express, and then const user is equal to express. It's a function. Well, here the user is just a variable name and you are free to give any name, but generally we always use meaningful names. The next thing is user.use express.json to read the request body object. This is just a middleware. We will be discussing what middlewares are. Now let's create an API. User.post parentheses and endpoint name. Let's name it as create. And then req, res, callback, arrow functions, and response.send. I'll just say user postback executed, and finally I will export this as a module. Module.exports equals user, that is express object. Let's save the file and now go back to index.js. Here I'm going to import the file. I'll say const user require, in the brackets I'll say current path, that is dot/user, that is the user object. And then I'll say app.use. Here I will give the endpoint name, user, that is the module that we just imported here. So whenever we call localhost 5000/user, it is going to refer this object, and then any endpoint name after the user is given will be searched from user.js file. Let's check quickly. So I am in Postman now. In CRUD example collection, I'm adding a new request. Name this as create user API. I am selecting the request type as post, and let me give the URL, that is localhost 5000/user/create, and let's click on send, and here is the response saying user postback executed. Perfect. Things are working as expected, means we are on the right track. Let's go back to user file and complete the pending task, that is write a query to insert multiple records in the post API that we created. So once again, import the connection file, but this time instead of whole object, I am destructuring the method and importing it. So here I will say const parentheses db_connect. Here db_connect is the method in connection file that we had imported from it, equals require dot/connection. Now in the API I will say db_connect dot then _db arrow function _db dot the database collection, name of the table, that is users, dot insert many. Insert many is the function in MongoDB to insert multiple records. Parentheses, and in that I will pass request.body and the callback error and response data. And now I will say if there is any error, response.send. Let's convert this error object to string so you get the message. Otherwise, response.send and the response data. Also, let me add catch block. I'll say dot catch in the brackets err, that is the error object which will receive the error, arrow function, response.send error.toString. So in the catch block, I am sending the ERR. Perfect. Let's save this and go back to the Postman and execute. So here in body section, I am creating a user object. Curly brackets, I'll say name, giving the name. Email, my name at domainname.com. Phone number, whatever. And we can pass many more records this way. Now let's click on send. And what does it show here? It says Mongo invalid argument error. Argument docs must be an array of documents. That's because insert many function in the MongoDB expects the parameter in an array, and what we have provided here is JSON object. So what should we do now? Change this object to an array of objects. So I will add this object in an array, open close square brackets, and this object goes in here. Click on send, and now we have the result, inserted count and inserted IDs. So here the inserted count is 1 because we have just one object in array. Let me add few more objects and change the values. Okay, now click on send. And there we go, inserted count 3 and 3 inserted IDs. Let's verify in MongoDB Compass. And there it is. So now we have successfully implemented the post API which inserts multiple records.